Next opponent, I'm not sure. I think his coach is talking about fighting Nate Diaz. But last Saturday made me finally go, you know what? I do want to see this guy fight Floyd Mayweather. And I think Floyd will kill him in a boxing match. But the spectacle of it, the drama of it, it would be a tremendous event. Conor and Floyd are both showmen. They're both promoters. They're both outsized personalities. It would be tremendous. And I wouldn't even care. If Conor gets destroyed, I wouldn't care because the party in Vegas would be so great. The culture clash between UFC fans and boxing fans would be so great. It would be an historic event. And I would go in probably thinking Conor McGregor is going to get his clock clean, but I want to see it.
You know, I go back and forth on this. I'm not necessarily a believer in, stay in your lane. I mean, if you're talented, a writer can be a radio host, can be a TV person. I'm not a stay in the lane person. But in this instance, I think it's such a mismatch because it would be boxing rules that would lead the way. I don't think Conor McGregor would have a chance. So I think I would stay in UFC, again, not always, but in this instance, because unless there was an interpretation of the rules where you could add takedowns and add elements of UFC, I just think it's a bad business model. I think going into a fight with Floyd and he gets his rules and I don't get mine, I think that's a loss.
Listen, I don't think Conor McGregor sees it that way because what Conor McGregor sees is his bank account exploding if he takes on this challenge. And there's no pressure on him. There's no expectations. Again, if he gets knocked out like Michael Spinks did against Mike Tyson, it's not going to diminish him at all because, again, he's fighting Floyd's rule. That paycheck, 50, 70, 80, whatever $million, that's not replaceable.
Yeah, I guess you could make the argument because UFC fighters, none go unbeaten. A loss wouldn't tarnish his record. He's not 60-0 in the UFC. Right. Again, the money could be so enormous that you just can't say no to it.
Listen, you lived in Las Vegas. Just think of the spectacle. Vegas, that event, how big would that event be? To me, it would be when Tyson was fighting in Las Vegas, I loved it. Everybody came. It was an incredible...
Everybody's got a dollar figure. I mean, listen, Peyton Manning said, I eat Oreos all day. I don't think he eats Oreos all day. I mean, I think at some point, I think you may have changed my mind. I think at some point, because here's the other thing. If they fought each other and boxing gets all the advantages, I think going into the fight, the media would say, Conor's got no chance. It'd be one thing if Conor went in as the favorite and got smoked. Then his gravitas, he shrinks. I think everybody knows. It's like when Muhammad Ali years ago, didn't he?
Larry Holmes, I was just thinking that. You took the words. Listen, and at the end, that was a terrible fight, and it was possibly led to Ali's illness. But people bought into that fight. People wanted to see if Muhammad Ali at his age could pull it off. It was a big event. This, I don't think, would have the tragic impact of that. This, I think, would, again, be one of the biggest sporting events of my lifetime. I want to see this far more than I want to see Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather fight again, or even the first time.
Listen, let me tell you something. Just to show you how strong UFC is, boxing now needs UFC to be relevant. UFC this weekend didn't need boxing. Boxing now needs UFC to be relevant.
I want McGregor and Mayweather.